Latino Wall Street CEO and co-founder Tony Delgado returns to the stage with CEO of Cardone Capital, businessman, author, and real estate investor Grant Cardone.
And thank you guys for being here. And also, these guys are called what up front?
The Titans.
The Titans. I need to get to know you guys better.
So Grant, yeah, for people who don't know, right, you're a real estate mogul, billions of dollars of assets under management, right? But you weren't born a Titan, right? You didn't start out as this big Titan of industry in the world of real estate.
Yeah, more like a tadpole.
So I guess take us back to when you were first getting started, and what do you think is the determining factor between people who are born broke and die broke and people who are born broke and become Titans?
Yeah, so I think, I grew up in the middle class. I was raised by a single mom, so big shout out to all the single mothers out there that you're trying to figure out. Yeah. You're trying to figure out how to raise your kids, how to be a father, which you can't be, by the way, so you can attempt to do that, but it's never going to happen. And you're trying to figure out how to balance and get some money and protect it and take care of the kids. I mean, it's a struggle. And I was raised by a mom that had 5 kids. She knew nothing about money. She didn't know how to invest it. She didn't know how to use it. The best she could do was try to save it. And so I grew up in an environment where there was tremendous scarcity and fear and anxiety around money all the time. And I didn't like that. So I was 15 years old and I'm like, I'm gonna get rich. Because what we're doing right now is not a comfortable living style. I mean, we had air conditioning, I had a roof over my head, and I had 3 meals, but there was tremendous fear in the environment constantly. 30 days of the month, 12 months of the year. It never went away. Christmas and Thanksgiving, it was always there. And if my mom had to spend money, there was fear. Because what happens is the accounts are being depleted. And there was no money coming in, and there was no certainty about any of the investments. And so I made a decision when I was a kid. I'm like, I'm gonna create wealth one day, and I'm gonna figure out I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to hustle. By the way, a big heads up and handout, or not a hands out, but congratulations for all of you that made that commitment, because very few people actually make that commitment. And in this country, there's no reason that every person in this country is not wealthy. There's tremendous amounts of wealth here. There is no scarcity. If you grew up in a scarcity environment the way I did, you don't see the possibility. I showed you that thing in the back. You said, "How'd you see that?" Because I'm looking for it. I'm looking for, if you grew up poor, you're looking for glitches and openings, and you're looking for, because you don't have connections and you don't have money and you don't have credit. You look for, you're looking around corners and stuff. When you want to play a game at Christmas, you don't go to the store and buy a game. You make up a game. You have an imagination. And so that's what I've done for, 50 years, is set a target, big, massive, giant target, and then I start figuring out who can connect me with that target. Is it real? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? Pursue it. And then I closed my wife, found her. Same way, same thing. Like, if I want to find quality, I want quality in my life. I want greatness in my life. I want exceptionalism in my life. I don't need to settle. You guys don't need to settle. And I think that's the difference between, if you call them a Titan and a tadpole.
Well, and being a Titan in all areas of life, right? Not just in finance. And finance is really important,
no,
but also your family life, right?
Health, family life. My daughter Scarlett's here right now. We homeschool our kids. Took them out of the school system. I didn't want them around a bunch of other scarce thinking kids. And their parents. I don't know what the teachers are teaching your kids. You guys know what the teachers are teaching your kids? That'd be a no. You don't know. You don't know what they're, and most of what's being taught today is outdated anyway. Like, the world's about to go into a major shift, folks. It doesn't matter what it is: healthcare, real estate, traveling, vacationing. Like, you're going into a major shift. This could be the biggest wealth generation, wealth transfer. Trillions of dollars are going to be transferred over the next 15 to 20 years because baby boomers are dying off, but also because we're going into a new world. The Trump administration here in the next 6 to 9 months, you're going to see a massive economic burst in this country. And most people are not ready for it. They're not ready to take advantage of it. And it's unfortunate because it's here. The real estate community in Florida is phenomenal. Like what's happening in the state of Florida. I moved from California 13 years ago. We moved the family here to take advantage of the opportunities here. California, New York, and Illinois have sold more real estate in Florida than all the real estate agents combined because they make crazy decisions there.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that backstage. It was rumored that you were looking at maybe running for governor of California. You came out, you were doing rallies and saying, make California great again. Obviously, they have a lot of problems. We had the riots the last few weeks. We had the fires. What are some of the problems in California? And do you think you're the one to fix them, or who's the one to fix it?
Well, first of all, nobody running right now over there, including the Republicans, can fix the problem in California because they're not gritty enough. They're not grinders. And I went to California with the intention to see if they were ready for change. I do not believe the state of California is ready for the kind of changes that would take to recover that country, that state. It is an unbelievable resource. It's worth saving. I've never been interested in politics. If you asked me to run for governor of Florida, I'd be like, why would I do that? Florida's fine. But when this thing happened in California, the fires, I still have a home there. I'm like, this place is wrecked. This is one of the greatest American resources. Like, even if you don't live there, California is one of the great resources on planet Earth. Definitely one of the great resources in America. And it's massive. If it rolled over, and it could, it would take the entire country down with it. It would be a federal bailout, which is what I believe the game is over there. They don't want to fix their problems. They want to depend on the federal government. Because if they're in a state of emergency constantly, the federal government's got to bail them out all the time. So no matter where you live, you're going to be bailing out the state of California. The problems there are they keep removing everybody. They keep pushing out everyone that's productive. The homeless have homes. The homeowners are homeless. The rodents, the field mice, are more protected than the property owners. If you own a business, you're going to lose. You're going to lose in court no matter what. You hire somebody and they had a problem with you, they're going to win no matter what. Okay, if you own real estate, you can't evict your tenant even though they don't pay you. Like, it's like, bam. So what do you do? Okay, you could go in there and reduce taxes to zero. People still would not go back because now, look, Elon left.
He built a big factory in Texas. He's not going back.
He's not going to go back. He just can't go back easily. Chevron left. I left. It cost him $1 billion. One little guy left. I cost him $1 billion in tax revenue leaving. Came here and blew my business up, exploded. So they got a lot of problems there. They got the environmental problems, the environmental moats around the government. It's not just Newsom and Karen Bass. But what is the opportunity? The opportunity is people are going to shift over to other parts of the country, settle there, settle their businesses there. And so Arizona will be a winner, Nevada will be a winner, continue to be Texas will continue to be a winner. Dallas will be a boom city, a super boom city over the next 10 or 15 or 20 years. Florida is going to be a winner. Like, you could literally blindfold yourself and buy real estate in Florida, and you're going to win.
Let's switch back to the economy. You've said before in your career the game is rigged. You've said before the middle class is a dangerous place to be because you think that you're doing okay while in reality you're just going to end up broke long term, right? Here at Latino Wall Street, we teach Latinos to thrive, not just survive. We teach them to own assets, to own real estate, to own stocks, and to build empires, and to break limiting beliefs and generational curses. So my question is, why do you believe that financial freedom starts with getting aggressive about taking ownership and not waiting for someone else to come and save you?
So look, wealth and property rights are you cannot ignore the fact that it is culturally something happens in different communities that does not or does happen in other communities. All you got to do is look at the statistics. It's Asian Indians, okay? Whites are in the middle, Hispanic, black. Property rights, wealth, income, net worth, you name it. So you can't, there's no one that can convince me. I mean, I get a lot of hate about this, but nobody can convince me something's being taught in each one of those layers that immigrants come to this country and end up being wealthier than the people that lived here for the last 100 years is crazy. If you're white and male and you're not rich, like something's totally wrong. It's impossible. How do you do that? We have all this wealth, trillions of dollars moving in and out of the U.S. economy. Okay? So it gets harder as you drop into these classes because something must be being taught in those groups. Like I was raised by a single mom, so I'm greatly influenced by scarcity. Okay? Everything is a depression-oriented, something's going to go wrong, it's going to go terrible. Be conservative, take baby steps. It's the middle class. It's this giant middle class that we have in America that makes it great. But that middle class today is not the same as it was in 1958. It's a completely different thing. In 1958, 68, when you were getting into the middle class, you were coming out of being in poverty and you were owning property and cars and houses and making investments, and your income was going up. In the middle class in the 1960s is completely different than the middle class in 2024, where your incomes are going down, prices are going up. The middle class is no longer a wealthy group of people. It is basically people that believe they're rich, but are actually poor. And the government just calls you the middle class. And you do not want to be in that group, because that group of people gets ignored by the government more than any other group. Poverty gets paid attention to, the wealthy are paid attention to, everybody in between, the middle class, basically gets consumed. And so that's why I said the middle class is a redefined group of people that people need to be concerned about. Also, all those things that the middle class have learned, save your money. That was bank propaganda, by the way. The banks encourage you to save money because it benefits them. Buy a house. I don't know, is there any real estate agents here? Okay, good. Sell a house, don't buy a house. Okay? The 401, the Keos, the Ross, yeah, good for you, maybe. You got to wait 40 years to pay higher taxes. Vanguard got rich. Fidelity got rich. Trillions of dollars. These are $1 trillion propaganda plays. Okay? So the middle class has been educated on rules that make the banks rich. And so I think everybody, while that might have been good in 1960 and 70, you guys need to reconsider that, you know, when you have a 401k and you're going to have to start pulling money out at 72, are taxes going to be higher or lower than they are today? They're going to be higher. Okay, will money be worth more or less in 30 years? It's going to be worth less. So you better be better off reworking that money today. Okay, like we look at very, very progressive, futuristic things to do so that we can outperform even a real estate return or the stock market return. So, like to me, I need 25 to 35% return to create the wealth that I really want. And to get that, I need to start looking for glitches and openings in AI and Bitcoin and crypto and combining like real estate and Bitcoin together to create new opportunities for me and my family and my investors to create tremendous amounts of wealth rather than marginal wealth.
Yeah, so you have this really innovative new investment vehicle that combines real estate and crypto. I know you were just in New York City, down by the New York Stock Exchange, and talking to JP Morgan and all these really big financial institutions. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, can you show this image? I sent this image. This is something.
Yeah, Sammy, if you can show the image.
This is our 5th deal that we've done. I'm a big real estate guy. I own 14,000. I'm not a big real estate guy, but I got a $5 billion worth of real estate, and I love real estate. How many real estate investors here? Cash flows, you get great tax write-offs. It appreciates over time. The rents go up. We buy rental properties.
Sí.
Trophy institutional quality real estate, great locations. And then what we do is we take great real estate, like I'm buying a deal in Boca right now, the deal that was in bankruptcy, $220 million. We're taking it out of bankruptcy. It's cash flow positive, and we'll add $100 million worth of Bitcoin at purchase. So the deal will go from 220 to 320. Okay, now the deal still cash flows. So I basically own Bitcoin with the real estate.
Yeah, so the last time that I interviewed, you had just opened up the fund to like retail normal investors, right? Because there's all these regulations around who can invest into a real estate fund. And you're buying commercial grade real estate. So you're not buying one house. You're buying these big condominiums. these big,
300, 400 units.
yeah. And what's the average deal that you guys are doing?
Our average deal is probably 100 millions a small deal.
So you would take
Best,
100 million.
These are, we focus on best locations possible. We do not buy real estate everywhere. We buy the best location. I would rather pay a premium for a great location. Look, you want to pay for quality, folks. I don't mean a great building. I mean, and we buy great buildings, but I mean the perfect location. If you buy the perfect location, it will always be the perfect location, and you can't fix a bad location ever. No matter how big the swimming pool is, or it's just a bad location. A bad location is a bad location. I mean, if you're willing to wait 50 years, maybe it gets better, but it's never going to get great. It's just no action there. So the problem with real estate, though, is it's slow. It's just, the benefit of real estate is it's slow, and that's the problem with it. It's slow, it's heavy, the government's involved.
It's safe.
They can tax you, it's safe, it's stable, it cash flows, it's got tax write-offs, but it doesn't have any explosive power. Bitcoin, liquid, 24/7, 365. Extremely volatile, okay? It can go up in 10 days. 10 days of every year, it typically has its biggest move in 10 days. Well, what we do is we add the Bitcoin at the purchase. So we basically take something that's very stable and something that's very volatile, and we fuse them together as one entity, and it makes this super wealth machine, okay? There's never been done before, ever, and never been done before scale. We'll have a dozen of these done by the summer. Can they show it? You guys got to see this, man. It's a game changer. I showed it to J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, and Cantor Fitzgerald, and all of them want to take this platform public. So I'm going to put a dozen of these together before the end of summer. So the point is, we have this piece of real estate that's going to pay. It's going to pay us a cash flow, and it's going to maybe earn 8 to 12%, maybe 15% a year. We're going to add the Bitcoin to it. If the Bitcoin goes down, we still have our real estate, okay? When the Bitcoin blows up, they're fused together, so I get the best of both worlds, and you don't need to understand Bitcoin. You just need to understand we own some real estate that owns some Bitcoin, and we get the payoff of two worlds. We get this old world, 2,000-year asset, real estate, combine it with a new world asset.
Yeah, when you described this to me, I was like, oh my God, this is genius, because you're combining something that's super safe, super reliable, which is real estate.
It's a hedge against the Bitcoin.
Yeah. And the real estate's paying for the Bitcoin.
That's right.
Right? Because the real estate's cash flowing constantly.
Right. Yeah. And then what we do is we add our residents. We have our residents. We are able to provide our residents with, look, the future's here, folks. We're providing our residents with an opportunity to invest in the real estate they live in. This Boca deal, they're paying $4,100 a month. We're 98% occupied. At $4,100 a month, those people are qualified to invest in our transaction. So the moment my residence becomes an investor, I got policemen in all 366 units. I got owners, okay? I have lower cost of turnover. I have people taking care of the property. As inflation, as the government, whether it's Trump or the next group of people or whoever, they're going to continue to print money. As they print money, real estate goes up, and so does Bitcoin. As currency continues to be depreciated.
I love it. I know we're running low on time. So
hey, time is yours, man.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Time is yours. Give this man a big hand for putting this on today and getting me over here. I don't even know how they got me over here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm paying everybody. All right, we need 10 more minutes. No, so the last question I want to get into is, like becoming a Titan is like a choice, right? Like, and choosing to be successful, right? So I think most people, they pay taxes, they pay bills, and then they die, right? And it's a very select group of people who choose to be in this 1%, choose to work and come to a ballroom on a Saturday or a Sunday and be part of something like this. What is the mindset shift that you think people need to have today to go from being normal and mediocre to being someone extraordinary?
Yeah, I think you just need to add some extra to your ordinary. It's just like, hey man, I'm ordinary. I'm a regular guy. Oh, is it up now? I don't know what you guys are. Let me just see if I understand what you guys are looking at. Oh yeah, so that's the property. It's 366 units.
There we go.
We're paying $220 million for that out of the bankruptcy. The guy took too long to get the deal done. That's the blue line at the bottom of the graph. That's the blue line. Is the real estate.
There we go. We got it here too, Grant.
Oh, beautiful.
There we go.
Even better. I can sit down.
Hey.
So the blue line is the real estate. The blue line, if you pay cash for $220 million in cash for a piece of real estate in Boca, Maine and Maine, on Meisner. Next to it is a Mandarin hotel. And next to that is $5 million condos. In front of me is a golf course with $14 million homes. Okay. Like I'm not losing. This is Park Place on the Monopoly board. So you're buying best-in-class real estate that's already occupied and cash flow positive. Let me just add a little addendum here. We're in the best real estate buying market I've been in 40 years of my entire life. And no one knows it. And it's not in single-family homes.
And why do you think that is?
Because the commercial real estate, the big boys got hammered in this last cycle. There's trillions of dollars worth of debt that's due. This is a bank problem. It's a distressed seller, not a distressed piece of real estate. Okay, so a guy put too much debt on it, took too long to get the project done. I walk in, I save him like I saved my wife. Or she saved me, one of the two. Okay, but what's cool is we added Bitcoin to the purchase. It only changed the cash flow a couple of points. It's still cash flow positive. Now I have the potential of the orange line.
So you're using the bank's money to add Bitcoin to the transaction,
I'm not using bank money right now.
No.
I'm just using fiat currency. I'm using this garbage. I'm using this garbage. We know this is garbage, right? Because you guys understand cash is trash, right? Cash is not king like it was in the 30s and 40s. This is garbage. This $100 bill has lost 91% of its value in my lifetime. It's lost 25% of its value in the last 6 years. It's lost 10% of its value this year. So anyone saving money, and to the ladies in the room, you guys have you have a propensity to keep most of your money in cash, savings, checking accounts, and money markets. You got to quit doing this. You're not saving your money. Your money's being destroyed. Okay? And the funny thing, and this is why it's so important what you do, the account's going to say it has $1 million in it, but it doesn't buy $1 million. That's how they trick you. Okay? So what we did was we took this real estate. We want to convert cash that's going down in value to real estate that maintains its value and has income and has big tax write-offs. This idea that you have to do two things, everybody's got to die and pay taxes, neither one of them are true. I refuse to believe I'm going to die. And I definitely ain't going to pay the IRS. Okay? This is what I got for the IRS. Okay? My job is the wealth builder in my family is to make sure I give this to the IRS. Okay? But it really means this, okay? My kid's here, so like, has to be turned, right? Nothing. I want to give them nothing. I want to pay the federal government nothing, zero, and I'm proud of it. Okay? I pay $40 million in property taxes. I want to fund my community. I do not want to fund the national government that makes dumb decisions to go to wars in Ukraine or Iran. Like, I know you guys are proud about bombing Iran. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to fund it. Okay? Because
you can clap for that.
Yeah, because
I don't want to pay for it.
By the way, most of that
I don't
money
pay for it either.
Most of that money never made it to the B2.
Yeah.
Most of that money was pillaged on the way to Ukraine. Okay, so anyway, back to our problem right here in America. I own 1,000 pieces of Bitcoin at purchase, 1,000. How many of you think it's going to be worth more tomorrow, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now than it is today? Even if you don't know anything about it. You're like, I have no clue. Okay, can you get back the graph? Well, I take it down. There you go. Okay, so I have 5 years with this stuff. I don't need to sell it today because I have my real estate. Now, also on this particular piece of real estate is we have a development play where I can take these 366 units, convert them to condos, sell them for $1 million each. The project's now worth 366 if I sell them for $1 million. I sell my real estate. The whole project was $335 million. I make $30 million and own 1,000 Bitcoin for free.
Now
And
what?
some people
Now
believe
what happens if the Bitcoin goes down?
I still have my real estate. And by the way, if it goes down, I pray every day it goes down so I can buy more because I'm using the cash flow to own more because I'm not getting rid of it anyway.
You're putting some of the cash flow even to acquiring more?
The cash flow
like your dollar cost averaging?
dollar cost average every month.
Wow. So the holding company is acquiring Bitcoin every month when everyone pays their rent.
Yeah. So we've done this on 5 deals. I showed it to my audience. I basically get my money direct from investors. So CardoneCapital.com, we go direct to investors. We have 20,000 investors. We've raised $1.7 billion. No broker fees, no banks, no Merrill Lynch, no Fidelity, no middleman, no pimp. I don't take a knee. I don't beg people for money. I'm like, here's my audience. Here's my deal. I bought it. You guys want to get in it? You can. All you got to do is be a resident of the United States of America. And then we my goal is to provide our investors with 25% returns.
Wow, that's incredible.
And the depreciation that comes with it. And I've taken the risk out of the Bitcoin. You don't need to buy Bitcoin and wait for it to go down or wait for it to go up because I'm hedged against the real estate that protects the investment.
Wow, that's incredible. What about people who are
but
not
back to your
US
other
citizens?
thing, you guys should work on. I'm sorry to interrupt
Sure,
you.
yeah.
You guys should work on. Hey, how do I live longer?
Mm.
In fact, how would I live forever? This is real wealth. Real wealth would live forever. Okay? How could I do something for 40 or 50 or 60 years and my financial, my finances, my wealth would be passed on to other generations or to my church, to the community, to the hospitals. The government cannot do this, folks. This is all on you guys. The people that make a commitment to creating legacy wealth, okay, are actually giving the greatest contribution to their country and their community than anybody else, including the people in government.
I love that. Grant, I know we're running low on time. They're freaking out back there. I guess if you could give, just to wrap up, like a last thought, you give some advice to the 18-year-old version of yourself before you were getting started, before you had all this real estate and all these big things going on and you were just a young kid, what advice would you give to a younger version of yourself?
Well, if I had a lot of problems between 15 and 25, I would just say, hey, little Grant, dude, think bigger, go bigger, get around some great people, get around the titans that are already titans. About half of what they tell you is true. The other half is wrong because they're too old. But half of what they say is worthwhile. They don't know everything. You guys agree with that? Yeah. And then find the ones that want to grow and find the ones that want to be ethical and find the ones that are giving back and find the ones that are current. And not talking about what they did 20 years ago, but did something this week. Yesterday, I just finished doing 6 hours in front of, about 2,000 people on wealth for 6 hours today. And then I came over here and spent some time with you and network and hang out with good people, leave the drugs alone, leave the alcohol alone. Don't even leave the women alone because you don't know anything. You're 18. You got nothing to contribute to a woman.
Well, Grant, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
guys
here, my
for
friend.
having
Grant
us.
Cardone.